What's going on, guys? Welcome back to my channel to another iRacing video. We are in the V8 Supercars once again, and I'm bringing you today the most recent SOF race of the Aussie Supercar series at the Hungaroring. It was my first ever time doing one of these, and I managed to put down my best lap of the week in quali for this race, so spot on performance there, making us start in P7 for this race. Let's take a look at what happened. So the lights are on,
get ready,
and we get ready for the start.
Green.
Had a good reaction time, but the people around me have slightly more advanced starting technique than I do, I would say, by the looks of it. Still looking good though. We might lose one position. I tried to defend it here by carrying as much speed as possible around the outside of turn 1. I think I overdid that a little bit here in this case, actually. So, takes here. Covering up the inside here. Nowhere to go but the outside for us. And then I get this little tap from behind from the red car. I was a little bit of a shock. Had to do some magic to keep the car under control there. So we lose another 2 spots. Already back in P10 now. So even though the initial start was quite okay, we are struggling a bit here on this opening lap. Of course, just trying to settle in a little bit more at this point and trying to make the most out of this, not losing any further spots as there's a car off the road rejoining, and Dylan Rutt versus Kenneth Ladder here, and then they come together. We almost got hit by the car of Dylan Rutt, who takes out someone else. However, we end up losing even more positions. Down to P11 now after this, and Brit behind has a good run as well and is trying to benefit from all of that has went wrong for us. And here I kind of left the door open a bit too much, so he's just sensibly he takes out the other guy in front. I mean, come on, what are you doing? Fair enough, you had a good run, you want to overtake me, but then do it properly and don't just send it into the corner so hard as if there's no other people on the track other than you, you know. It's just very, very stupid maneuver there from him, taking out the other guy who had nothing to do with that at all, so that's a shame. However, for us, it's a good point in time in the race to finally calm down a little bit and get everything under control. So we are starting the second lap of the race in P10 here. Overall still lost 3 positions, but at this point I really was just happy to still be alive and to still have a functioning car, because also in that last incident we had quite a bit of a hit with that one car, and I mean we have had 3 really close calls already just on that opening lap, so it could have all looked a lot worse at this point in time already. So the gap ahead is already above 2 seconds, so it's gonna be tough to close that down, especially as I probably have some damage, I would assume, after all these hits. Like I said, it's been quite a bit, like not the most heavy hits, but 3 already, or 2 at least. So no, it definitely was 3. So yeah, would have been a surprise if I came away from that without any damage at all, but we'll see in detail when I come to the pit stop around the middle of the race how much of repairs we actually have. Up until then, I'll just try to settle in, like I already said, look after these tires a bit, so we've got something left towards the end of the stint, and we make a jump here to lap 10 already, because there's just not much that happened throughout that first stint. We're just tries to stay within reach of the group in front. You can see the gap has increased slightly. It's about 3 seconds now to Whiting, who is the car in front of us. And the gap behind actually has increased, so I managed to get rid of Vela a little bit. Overall, the pace was okay. I was not upset or anything about my pace, but especially considering that I was basically sure about having damage at this point already. And yeah, Was doing alright, just trying to maximize the pace over the whole stint, you know. And slowly but surely was thinking about pit stops as well. And at this point, just now, one guy from this group in front of us already went into the pits. So I was starting to think, maybe I should pit early as well here, because I don't really have anything to lose here if the undercut strategy doesn't work out that well for me in this race. Worst thing that will happen really is maybe I'll lose another place to the guy behind, but it's not like I'll drop to the back of the field if I come in too early or anything, you know. So yeah, it was like, let's do an undercut. Let's come into the pits before the guys in front of us do so we can maybe close down that gap on our fresh tires a little bit. Because after all these laps, I pretty much knew that just from pure pace, I probably won't be able to get any closer to them. They were slightly quicker, maybe like half a tenth per lap than I was. So yeah, I knew I had to try something in terms of strategy if I wanted to get involved in that fight. So we're in lap 11. I think this is the lap where I pitted. Yep. Entering the pits. You can also lose a lot of time on this pit entry here at Hungaroring if you don't nail the corner properly. And then hard braking down to 50 kph on this track. That's very slow. Taking out the pit limiter, trying to maximize the speed in the pits in second gear. Yeah, just the regular try-hard stuff that at some point just start doing.
Box now.
I did some races of this before already throughout the week. As we can see, 28 seconds of damage, I believe it is, so quite a bit. It definitely slowed us down a little bit. Not sure how much, but yeah, probably could have went slightly quicker without all of that damage. But it is what it is. I knew how much fuel I have to take from the races I did earlier in the week. Actually went up a little bit though with that to make sure I won't run out, because you never know, right? With damage you can always use a bit more fuel than normally. Don't think it was the case in this race, but yeah, like I said, just wanted to make sure. Because what's worse than running out of fuel on the final lap and not even making the finish? That's the most awful feeling ever. So we come out 4 seconds behind Bradley here, who was the one car that I said pitted as the first one from that group in front of us. And we're basically on the same mission here, trying to make up as much time as possible on the fresh tires, make use of this extra grip in the beginning of the stint to gain some time towards the opponents, and just really trying to nail every corner, be as quick as possible throughout the whole lap here. That's always a blast after finishing off a stint, switching from these old worn out tires, especially on a track like this where the tires do get killed quite a bit throughout a stint, and then you come onto the fresh ones and actually have grip again. You can attack the corners again and stuff, and the exits of the corner, especially in this car, that's a huge topic, of course. That's where a lot of lap time is in the V8 Supercars, and yeah, just huge difference in terms of how aggressive you can be on the throttle between old and fresh tires in this car. And here comes out of the pits Kenneth, who we have already been around before. Remember, he was one of the cars that we had to avoid in like the middle of lap 1. He runs wide here out of the pits. I kinda make a stupid mistake as well, so that cost a bit of time. However, Kenneth was part of this group that we were chasing. I remember we were 3 seconds down to those guys, also collecting off tracks for days throughout this race. 6x at this point, far from over, with incident points though. Here we see Michael Whiting coming out of the pits, as well as the car in front was Sebastian Tixier, who overtook us in turn 1. But the interesting part is really Michael Whiting, because He was the guy we were 3 seconds back on. Before the pit stop, he was the last car of that group. And now we overtook him, so we effectively gained 4 full seconds on him. So not bad, that strategy call, it definitely did something. However, yeah, he's only 1 second back and he's got the fresher tires. Two lap advantage even. So it's not gonna be easy, and it's also not gonna get any easier towards the end of the race. So we really have to be on it here to keep Michael behind. And yeah, it's just all about staying clean and patient in this car and hitting your apexes. I mean, just the slightest mistake, whether it is under braking or whether it is under acceleration, can cost you an enormous amount of time in these cars. So you really need to put in a lot of focus as we jump to lap 23, getting towards the end of the race, and we see Bradley Vaughan in front of us. We close down the gap. Also, Kenneth is right there. I do have to admit, though, it was not all about pure pace when it comes to closing that gap, because they started battling a little bit, these guys here, and that helped us a lot, that's for sure. We still got Whiting behind. He's also gotten a little bit closer. You could definitely see that he was very keen on getting my spot. And he's definitely gonna go for a move at some point if he gets the opportunity. But yeah, overall, the way the race has developed, also with that pit stop strategy, the early pit stop we did, was actually pretty nice. I was pretty happy with that, and also with all the damage I had. I mean, like I said, I'm not sure how much it actually slowed me down, how much quicker I could have went without it, but considering that, I was pretty happy to be in the spot. We could have also just been completely wrecked out of the race in lap 1 with all the stuff that happened there. So let's just appreciate the fact and not be negative about everything, because negativity never brings you forward in life. As we get a lot closer here in the braking zone to Bradley. I think I was a lot stronger than Bradley in that turn 1 braking anyways. Trying to show myself a little bit in his mirror there. And also in this corner, I was a lot quicker than him. However, Michael, behind, he's a freaking beast in the hard braking zones, it seems like, especially turn 1. He made up so much time to me every single time. It seemed like I could extend the gap to him a little bit out of the final corners, but he gained it all back in turn 1. As Bradley seems to struggle quite a bit, all sideways and slidey around the whole lap here. And yeah, we might get an opportunity to grab his spot. He's pitted even earlier than us, so we are actually in the tire advantage here, and it seems like he completely toasted his tires already as well. Or at least is doing so at the moment, so yeah, there might very well be an opportunity to get him. But at the same time, we have to be careful, of course, because Michael behind is just sitting there waiting for his opportunity as well. So if we are too aggressive and like drive off the road while trying to overtake Bradley, then Michael's gonna take our spot as well. So yeah, you really have to calculate risk versus reward here in a situation like that. And this was always a bit awkward as well, because Bradley had such a wide line on the entry for the final corner. The first time I followed him this close, I almost punted him because I didn't really expect that. The way I take that corner really just is based off the VRS hot lap video that I used as reference when I started practicing for this combo. And I mean, I was really quick all week, so you know, no reason to change that. And also here it seems like I always made up a good amount of time to Bradley with that alternative line in this final corner, so probably his line was not that ideal. However, we are on the penultimate lap already, and man, it's so tricky to overtake in these cars. Actually, you wouldn't really think so, but if the person in front doesn't really make mistakes, like major mistakes, then yeah, it's not easy, because You just have to be spot on, and with the tire degradation being much more a thing than in like a regular GT3 race on iRacing, for example, you have to be a lot more mindful about when you push and stuff as well, you know. So yeah, not easy at all. And you can see like when he nails some corners, he does still have pace to pull away a little bit. Actually, I'm really curious. I would love to find out if I would have been able to easily beat those guys without damage. But here's the thing, I've raced Kenneth before this week, and I did beat him, and I believe by quite a bit even. So probably damage has slowed us down quite a bit. But the lap times weren't too bad, so it's difficult to say. You never really know, of course. Anyways, final lap of the race. Same thing again. We catch up to Bradley a bit in turn 1. Bit sideways on the exit here. I'm really trying to get my opportunity. But Michael behind's also super close still, so the situation hasn't really changed. Bradley, sorry, going a bit wide on the entry here again, but there's not really anything I can do. I mean, I could have been an asshole, put my nose in there, but then probably I would have wrecked myself, sort of, so would have been a bit stupid. And now Michael's really close, so I make sure to cover the inside here, but Michael just sends it into the corner, and even though I covered the inside, seems like I didn't cover it enough, so we run on this outside here. I'm trying to brake really late into the chicane to keep the spot, but I run a bit wide over the sausage curb, have to get off the throttle to make sure I don't spin, and he's got the position. And I must say, I was a bit furious about that move from him when I was in the race, because yeah, I did cover the inside and he just sent it anyways. If I don't move over, then he literally just drives into me. And yeah, it's just that typical high SOF kind of overtake you see a lot in iRacing. It's just so annoying and frustrating, because either you let them have it or you try to defend it, but then most likely you get wrecked out. So no matter what you try to do, you lose it. Basically, what I should have done is to just cover up the inside even more there. But then the question is, would he have actually slowed down more than he did? Or would he have just run me over anyways? That's difficult to answer, but anyways, it was a fun race. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Also, I hope you enjoyed this style of the video, as I haven't done a video like this with like posterior commentary yet. If you did enjoy it, make sure to hit the like button. Sub to the channel if you're new, and check out all the links in the description down below. And yeah, let me know what you think about this video format, if you prefer that over the live commentaries, or if maybe you'd like the live commentaries more. And without further ado, have a good one.